Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So today is World Environment Day. So that is June 5th of every year is observed as World Environment Day, and this started from 1973. Okay, so this is now 52 years of observation of World Environment Day, and in fact, in 1970s, you might be aware that the environmental concerns, were shown from 70s. Like uh, at the United Nations, the discussions happened, and then in 1977 we got no 1987 comes Brundtland Commission report, and so from 80s onwards, you see it's a lot of environmental legislations coming up, and so okay, this year, South Korea is the host for this World Environment Day, and the theme is "Beat the Plastic Pollution." So, plastic pollution has become integral to our life. I don't know whether you can really imagine a world without plastic, okay? And but how do we really minimize this burden? Because if you do not recycle these plastics, or if you just dump it anywhere, then it is going to create a lot of problem for the planet. Okay? And uh, it is going to pollute the land, water, air, and everything, and it is in fact getting rid of human body as microplastics. So, uh, in fact, this is not the first year that we are having this theme. Our UN is keeping this theme, beat the plastic burden. In fact, when India was host, I think 3 years ago, the theme was again beat the plastic burden. So every year, the countries can decide the theme, and although this year the theme is beat the plastic burden, it has been also in the past. The theme has been also beat the plastic burden. So uh, now people are talking about circular economy, how to recycle this, collect this back. And in fact, I was also going through the South Korea's experience. I think some of you may speak like how they're going back to the earlier days, like when we had packaging. We did not have much packaging materials. We used to take the container and bring it from the shop directly. So then entirely actually we used to miss the packaging chain, and then we can reduce the plastic burden. Anyway, so we have very distinguished panelists, okay, who will be speaking about all these issues, and we have seven speakers who will be covering different aspects of the plastic burden, and starting from Dr. Sanjay Kumar Raut, who is a project scientist in our DST CPR. So he'll be telling us basically the global burden of plastics, and so what is the nature of and scope of the burden. And then Dr. Jayasri, who is also a project scientist too, she will be speaking about the burden of plastic at the national level, particularly in India. And Naneshwar is a PhD scholar with me. He will be speaking on the impact of plastic, waste on the environment, how it is impacting, different, sectors, particularly say land, water, soil, and our human body. And then Dr. Lakshmikant, who is also a project scientist, would be now speaking on the international legislations related to the plastic burden, or like how plastic waste, how we can control. And Miss Khulona, who is now assistant professor at Bargad Panchayat College, will be speaking on the national level policies, right? At India, water policy measures are being taken to reduce the burden of plastic waste. And Sasmita, again, is a PhD scholar, would be speaking on the best practices at international level, like because different countries are adopting different measures to reduce the burden of plastic waste. So she will be sharing some of that. And Dr. Divakar, who is a DST project fellow, who is a and yeah, DST project fellow. Is that the right designation? No, DST policy fellow. Yes, DST policy fellow. Dr. Diwakar Kumar would be speaking about the best practices in India, like in what all states we are using actually good policies. So he will be talking about that, and after that we can have a discussion. So every speaker will strictly take 10 minutes, not more than that. I have taken probably more than 10. No, I have not taken more than 10 minutes. It's still less than 10 minutes. So I will request all the panelists to take 10 or less than that minutes, so that we will have more time for discussion. Now, with this, I invite now Dr. Sanjay to start his presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody, and respected sir and madam present over here. And I am Dr. Sanjay Kumar Rawat. As we approach World Environment Day, and we are observing World Environment Day, and on the eve of World Environment Day, we are also just organizing panel discussion on plastic burden across the world. It is because the theme of the Environment Day is beat the plastic pollution. That's why whole discussion will be on global plastic burden. And I'm going to talk about little bit figure, a statistic of global plastic burden. Little bit figure, only a few slides are there. I will take, I think, less than 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And of course, most of the time we can find that everywhere we can find that there is plastic laying on the ground, and sometimes even many institutions you can find they are writing that this is a plastic-free campus. That particularly I can give the example of CDS, and now they're talking that this our campus is plastic-free campus. But not like Niger, of course, it's not a plastic-free campus. And in the future, I think we may get that plastic-free campus in Niger. And that's why we're going to discuss about it. And a little bit figure that for the first time, I think plastic invented in 1860. In 1860, but the plastic industry grew up in early 20th century, just in 1920s or before that. But however, the plastic industry expanded in 1940s. Since 1950, the plastic industry or production of plastic is growing exponentially. Now in the 50s you can find it was around 2 million tons. It was being produced 2 million tons of plastic across the globe. However, by 2019 it has increased to 459.75 million tons. I can just imagine that how faster the plastic production has increased, and it is projected by OECD that global plastic production is expected to reach 1.2 billion tons by 2060. It means that footprint of plastic across the globe is going to increase significantly even in the futures. And if you look at that annual growth rate, that plastic has increased by 8.2%. Annually it is increasing by 8.2%. And overall growth that if you look at between 1950 and 2019, then we can find that there is a significant number or the substantial number that you can find that 22,887.3% has increased that plastic production across the globe. Of course, there is different reasons behind it why the plastic production significantly increasing since 1950s. That one is versatile properties of plastic, including its lightweight nature, high durability, flexibility, low production cost, and easily we can carry also, combining with rapid population growth, urbanization, and that's why it is tightening the grip of plastic on our planet. And as we discuss, the plastic production has increased significantly, then of course we can find that consumption has increased, because plastic production has increased because there is demand in the market. As demand is increasing, of course, when demand increases, it lead to the consumption, because people get utility when they buy plastic from the market, or whenever anything they are buying, and which is being packaged in plastic. That's why its consumption also across the globe has increased to more than 350 million tons by 2018. And if you look at that distribution of plastic production across the globe, then we can find that China produce the maximum amount of plastics. The maximum quantity of plastic which China produced, 32% of global plastic production, followed by USA, that which produce around 1/5 of the global plastic production, then followed by Germany, which 1/10 of global plastic production. Then of course Japan and India also each produce the 3% of global plastic production, and Russia, South Korea also each one produce 2% of global plastic production, and other country also contribute. However, together if you look at China, USA, and Germany, then they together produce around 60% of global plastic production. Their share is 60% around. Now, plastic waste generation, as we discussed that plastic production is significantly has increased, and also consumption has increased significantly, then of course the waste also will generate significantly that over the time. And if you look at the distribution of plastic waste generation, then it is in terms of in absolute number, we can find that China generate the maximum quantity of plastic waste, and which is around 59.08 million tons, followed by USA, which also generate by 42.02 million tons. Then India comes in third place, which also generate by 26.33 million tons. Then followed by Japan, Germany, Brazil, India, Indonesia, Russia, UK, as well as in other countries. Of course, the three country include China, USA, India. Together they produce approximately 130 million tons of plastic waste, generate the plastic waste. Now, if we calculate the per capita waste generation, then we can find that USA, UK, Brazil, they consume more. That per capita consumption of plastic is very high there, and that's why their per capita plastic waste generation also very high. And compared to the Asian country like China and India, because you can say that India's population is very high or China's population is very high. That's why their per capita plastic waste generation might be very low. But however, the plastic consumption of waste is relatively high than that, and then than that of Asian country like China and India. And one just little bit the effect of plastic production that we can find that how it emit the greenhouse gases. If you look at that overall figure of greenhouse gases, then the plastic across the globe generate around emit 1.79 billion tons of greenhouse gases. Out of that, share of carbon dioxide is 1.61 billion tons. And then followed by methane, which share is very little. You can say 159.01 million tons. Then followed by nitrous oxide, which share is only 14.58 million tons. More than 90% that plastic production emits the carbon dioxide, which is the major portion of greenhouse gases, and also which also stimulate or accelerate the global warming. With this, I'm just reaching to my conclusion section, that plastic production and consumption and waste have been rising exponentially since 1950s, and this growing burden of plastic is posing serious threat to the environment and public health. Of course, all other panel members, they will speak about impact of plastic waste or plastic pollution across the world, and what can be the solution, what can we do in the future to reduce the plastic pollution. Other panel member will speak out. And the global plastic crisis can no longer be ignored in the world. Of course, it is increased to a significant level so that we cannot ignore it, and it demands urgent action to save our planet from the grip of plastic pollution.
So good afternoon to all. I'm Dr. Jayashree Parida, project scientist working at DSTCPR NICER. So Dr. Sanjay has already discussed about the scenario of plastic waste generation worldwide. Now I will talk on the burden of plastic waste in India. So as we all know, we use plastic materials as a primary material in our day-to-day lives. So, mostly these plastics are used in the packaging of food items, or in textiles, or transportation, or electronic and electrical products. So, the use of plastic is increasing at a faster rate, particularly the demand for single-use plastic. The single-use plastic, like the wrappers, food wrappers, or the straw, or polythene bags. So the use of this kind of plastics has risen drastically. Globally, the plastic production has exceeded 400 million tons per year, and India's plastic consumption has doubled in the past decade. So, the major reason of this rise is due to the rapid urbanization, industrialization, population growth, then economic development like e-commerce, then the changing lifestyle trends. So, coming to what is plastic waste? So plastic waste is generally, we say, the any kind of material, plastic material particularly, which is discarded after use, or which is not recycled. So these are the discarded plastic materials like bottles, bags, containers that are not reused or recycled. The plastic waste is of two types: macroplastics and microplastics. Macroplastics, which is larger items or visible items like bottles, containers. Microplastics are tiny particles which are created by the degradation of this macroplastics. So India is now one of the largest plastic consumer in the world after China and the USA. The major share of this plastic waste generation is in the area of packaging, particularly. More than 5,000 kiloton of plastic is used in this sector, followed by infrastructure and agriculture. In infrastructure, that is 747 kiloton, and in agriculture, that is 461 kiloton. And as per the report, India's per capita plastic consumption has grown to 6,447 kiloton in 2020-21. This number is expected to rise to double by 2030. Here, the major concern is most of the plastics we use are non-biodegradable. This can last for centuries. And second thing is the challenges to the India's waste management system, which are struggling to keep pace with rising consumption. Next is plastic waste generation trends in India. India stands at the first position in the plastic pollution ranking, which emitting the 1/5 of global plastic waste. Actually, sorry to say, India is now in the first position, particularly in the plastic waste generation. And India generates 26,000 tons of plastic waste every day, and also 9.3 million tons of plastic waste annually, out of which 3.5 million tons of plastic waste are mismanaged or remains uncollected, often littering land or water bodies and ecosystems. According to the annual report Central Pollution Control Board, the total estimated plastic waste generation during the year 2020-21, it was approximately 41 lakh ton in the year 2021. In 2016-17, it was 15 lakh ton. Now it has increased 3 times in 2020-21. So the plastic waste generation is increasing at a faster rate. Then coming to the state-wise distribution of plastic waste generation, the largest share of plastic waste generation generating states are Telangana, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal. The state Telangana generated the largest amount of plastic waste in India during the year 2021. It is almost 4,73,000 metric ton, and the least generating states are the Tripura, Sikkim, and Meghalaya. Their generation is almost less than 100 ton in the year 2020-21. So these are the major key factors why this plastic waste generation is increasing, and these are the 4 key factors. First one is the inefficient waste management infrastructure. India's waste management infrastructure has not evolved efficiently to handle or to deal the growing volume of plastic waste. So it is estimated that 77% of the waste generated in Indian cities is dumped into open landfills without being treated. Next is open burning and landfilling. Open burning, as per the report of the CPCB, the Central Pollution Control Board, that 5.8 million tons of plastic waste are burned openly every year in India. So primarily in rural areas or in the urban slums. So this practice not only contributes air pollution, also it also increase the health risk to their local communities, and also it creates problem to the environment. Then third one is single-use plastics that I told. That is the single-use plastics, which includes bags, straws, or that containers. This account a larger portion of the India's plastic waste. So, despite various regulatory bans in India, now also 43% of India's total plastic still consists of single-use plastics. Then fourth one is the informal waste sector. The informal waste sector plays a crucial role in recycling the plastic waste. Particularly, this informal sectors includes the waste pickers or the small scale recyclers. 60% of plastic waste is handled by this unregulated sector, and this sector is accounted for they increase the pollution rather than mitigation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nanesh Prajar, going to speak on impact of plastic waste. So, the result of the economic growth and the LPG reforms is that the world have experienced 5,800 million ton of global mismanaged plastics by 2015, and in an annual basis, like every year, 8 to 10 million tons of plastic entering into the oceans, causing more than 1 lakh marine species death. And it is not only impacting the wildlife or marine ecosystem, or like what we call the human ecosystem, but it is a global issue now. If we see the geopolitical situations now, like here I have mentioned one news report that how European countries are transporting their waste to the Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia, Thailand, and Maldives kind. So this is not only impacting the wildlife, but it is also a major geopolitical and geoeconomic problem now. And when we talk about the impact on wildlife, it is having a different type of causes, like it is not the entanglement, ingestion, invasive species, and toxic effect affecting the wildlife and the species living in forest or ecosystem, we can say. When we talk about the human health, many different type of diseases are causing because of the plastic waste. uh, like when we are throwing some tourists are one of the major contributors of some like area which are having a good wildlife pattern. Like if you see the Ladakh and Kashmir area, also many geopolitical uh, like fightings and exchanges of arguments happen because of these things. And the economic impact of plastic is that uh, like it is causing, like it is having more effect on the ocean life, that world is the European country, especially the Scottish and other countries, are having loss of 11.7 to 13.0 euros alone in last years, and it is having second the other major problem in the tourist industry, that the visitors due to polluted beaches and damages coral reefs. It is because of these problems the tourists are also afraid of going to that area. When like uh, suppose when Goa is one of the example in India, that we are seeing many news channels, they are showing that now it is polluted. Like the same with the Maldives also. And if we talk about the problem, it is affecting to the global economy. It is 1 to 5% reduction in ocean benefits, costing 2,500 billion dollar annually to the global economy. This is not a small amount, and like when we are talking about the protection of the ocean mammals, many news channels are showing, like every year some news will come, like one whale is came out of the ocean and we found many plastic bottles inside the stomach. And this is happened with the tortoise also. And in 2015 one case happened, that one straw found on the nostril of a tortoise, and because of which the White House have banned the plastic straw. But now the Donald Trump government again imposed that like we cannot use the paper, yeah, paper straw, because it is very uncomfortable. Like that, the Donald Trump statement that is, and it will get break down when we put inside the water. So that there is also a problem, that many companies who are making the paper straw, they are also using the plastic, so it cannot get dissolved in water very soon. According to the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, uncollected plastic waste would cost India more than $133 billion in lost material value by 2030. This is one of the major reason is that we especially in India, we don't know where to put the dust. Like we have separate, we can put the waste garbage in one dustbin and other one in the dry one. But in India, most of when the reports came, it is found that most of the recycle cannot be happen because they are mixing the garbage together, like the condoms, sanitary pads, foods also in there. So, and many industries are trying to figure out, like the Indian one ITC is there, who are actually producing the plastic also, and who have a separate department who is looking towards the sustainable producing like covers, which can help in reducing the plastic. So, in cost, in case of waste management cost, it is varying on the basis of country and geographical areas. Plastic pollution is responsible for 1 to 5% reduction in human benefit derived from oceans, equating to annual loss of US dollar 2,500 billion. Uh, we know that fishermen communities are all over the world, and this is one of the major concern for them, that plastics are found in every species who are living just beside the ocean. So the cost associated with management technologies are very globally. The research paper found that the uh, like for mechanical recycling, where they cannot recycle the physical structure will only recycle. When we are recycling something, the physical structure will only recycle, and we the chemical structure will not recycle. In that case, that mechanical recycling, it costs US dollar 0.003 to 0.23 per kg for mechanical recycling. For chemical recycling, pyrolysis, where the like for in case of pyrolysis, they are not using the oxygen for the like melting of a plastic. That are using US dollar 0.03083 US dollar per kg for chemical recycling. In case of gasification, it cost US dollar 0.102 per kg, and in case of incineration, it costs 0.04 to 0.15. And this is also a high cost amount, that most of the, like in case of plastic straw, we cannot in incineration is a major issue there because the cost is very high. In case of India, the plastic waste management expenditure in India range differently. So here, uh, for dump site disposal, it costs 6.02 to 18.05 US dollar per ton. For landfilling, it costs 19 US dollar per ton. In case of incineration, it costs more than that. So it's a bigger issue for incineration also, and it is a major cause for environmental pollution also. So we cannot go for the incineration always. So mechanical recycling, uh, chemical recycling, and biological recyclings are there, which are studied by Shankar et al. In 2022, and these are the major issues India is facing, and that is one of the like major cause that we are not going very far to do something for the impact of plastic waste, and how the human are getting affected because of that. So I will end here, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. Yeah, here actually the major point is that recycling is the least cost method, right? And again, to give a simpler perspective, in Niger, we are spending about 70,000 rupees per month, okay, for just collection and dumping it. Okay? So that's quite a lot of money. So even simply throwing plastic is not cost free. Okay, and you have to also take into consideration the environmental impact, right? So that's a recycling is the like cost effective solution. Okay, so we'll now move to the next presentation by Dr. Lakshmikant Guad. Dr. Lakshmikant would speak on the policies at international level to reduce the plastic waste burden.
Well, I have been assigned to talk on the international legislations and policies aimed at reducing plastic waste. So, plastic is that villain which is choking our planet at every moment, harming the ecosystem, well-being, and also causing the climate crisis. At the outset, let me tell you that this is not for the first time that the World Environment Day has a theme about plastic pollution. In the last 7 years, five related themes have been, kept by international agencies. To give you the detail, in 2018, the official theme of World Environment Day was Beat Plastic Pollution. Again, in 2008, the Earth Day theme was End Plastic Pollution. In 2023, the World Environment Day theme was Solution to Plastic Pollution. Then in 2024, Earth Day theme was Planet versus Plastic. In 2025, you see ending plastic pollution. That means from this we can predict that it is now a much bigger problem than we can think of. And uh, in 1970 onwards, every day, every year, we are uh, coming across new slogans, new promises, new agendas, and new development initiatives and environmental programs. But the solution but the problem remains intact. And in fact, as Dr. Sanjay and Dr. Jayasree told, that plastic is rising day by day. So, what is the problem and what is the way out? In order to address this, in March 2022, during the fifth session of the United Nations Environmental Assembly, that is UNEA 5/14, a landmark resolution came in force, which actually focus on the action-based policies instead of the traditional way of dealing with plastic pollution. Before, it was limited to make, make, and disposal. But now, this resolution has come with life cycle focus of plastics, from production to consumption to disposal and recycle. Again, how the plastic will continue, and till the end it will remain in the ecosystem without adding new plastics. So the focus is on circular economy models as well as EPR, that is known as extended producer responsibility. To give an idea about the circular economy model and EPR, circular economy is basically talking about designing out of waste. Products and packaging are designed to be reusable, recyclable, and compostable, and keeping materials in use. Plastics are used, reused, remanufactured, recycled into new products, and regenerating natural systems using biodegradable or bio-waste alternatives that don't harm ecosystems. Again, this EPR is an environmental policy approach that holds producers responsible for the entire life cycle of the products they introduce into the market, especially for take back, recycling, and final disposal of the plastic waste and packaging. So this is a major movement in the international legislations, and to regulate this, INC has been formed, that is Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee. It will take the responsibility of legally binding frameworks that 175 countries have already been there in the last INC meeting, and this time the coming meeting is going to be held in Switzerland, Geneva, and the final call will be there. Every country will be present and put their signature that every year by 2030 all countries are planning to reduce plastic drastically and to adopt 100% circular economy model. So these are the details of the last five meetings of INC. First, it took place in Uruguay, and the upcoming is in Geneva, Switzerland, which is planned to be held in August 2025. Now, what is specialty about this treaty, plastic treaty? It directly links with our broader environmental goals, sustainable development goals. For example, sustainable development goal, which aims for sustainable consumption and production patterns, it promotes a circular economy and extended producer responsibility. That how we should be responsible while consuming plastic. That at an individual end, we should reduce plastic as much as possible. It is not only the government who will be responsible to put the framework into action. It is a multi-stakeholder, action. At individual level, we should try to minimize our use. Then producer will produce recyclable plastics. Then government will levy taxes and also implement these UNE Assembly resolutions. And also community level, the community people should also drive rallies, clean rivers and common property resources. Then only we can handle these situations. Also, sustainable development goal 14 is related to marine pollution, which is trying to clean the oceans and rivers. This is the latest global resolutions. Before that, we had other international legislations. Now these legislations will work or will complement to the UNE Assembly resolutions. One of them was Basel Convention, which basically controls transboundary movements of plastic waste. And then Rotterdam Convention, which regulates hazardous chemicals in plastics. Stockholm Convention, it manages persistent organic pollutants in plastics. And MARPOL prevents pollution from ships, including plastic debris. There are other, international legislations, n number of international legislations. So, what is the way forward? Now we cannot blame international agency. We cannot blame the government alone. Government will implement the policies, but it is individual, it is the community, it is the producer, and it is the development agencies will work and come together to tackle plastics as soon as possible. Otherwise, life will be threatened very soon, as pointed out by Dr. Sanjay. By 2060, I think the planetary crisis and the triple planetary crisis like climate change and biodiversity loss and the burden of plastic will, severely threat the human civilization. With this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Khulana Malik. The topic of my presentation is India's key policies to beat plastic pollution, which is directly aligned with the World Environment Day 2025 theme. Uh, uh, Here, I'll present the key policies which are taken by the India, and also where the India participated in global level. As we all know, plastic pollution is one of the most pressing environmental challenges that we are facing today, and ridding the planet of plastic pollution is an important contribution to achieving the sustainable development goal, including those on climate change, environmental production and consumption, protection of seas and oceans, and repairing ecosystems and retaining biodiversity. Uh, India alone generate plastic waste over 9 million tons per year, which is uh, uh, India alone generate plastic waste over 9 million tons per year. Despite effort, a significant portion still ends up in landfills, water bodies, and the open environment. And the per capita consumption of plastic is approximately 11 kg per year. This figure shows the state-wise plastic waste generation, where we can clearly see that Telangana is generating 12%, followed by Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. Then this figure shows the plastic waste generation per capita per year, where we can see that there is an increasing trend of plastic waste generation per capita. Tackling plastic pollution, India's global commitment to fight the growing crisis of plastic pollution. India has joined hands with the global community. In 2019, India actively participated in the joint meeting of the Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm Convention in Geneva, advocating for strict global regulation on hazardous waste and chemical use. It strongly opposed e-waste dumping in developing countries and played a key role in including plastic waste under the Basel Convention prior informed consent procedure. India also supported the global phase out of single-use plastic and promoted international cooperation to curb illegal plastic dumping. Then, as a part of the G20 leaders' declaration in June 2019, India endorsed the G20 Osaka Blue Ocean Vision, committing to take strong action against plastic pollution. Along with other member countries, India pledged to reduce marine plastic litter and microplastic, aiming to eliminate new plastic waste entering into the ocean by 2050. Uh, in January 2021, during One Planet Summit in Paris, India joined the High Ambition Coalition for Nature and People. This global initiative aims to protect at least 30% of the world's land and ocean by 2030 and focuses on the strengthening biodiversity by reducing plastic pollution and preserving healthy ecosystem. Then the CPCB, the Central Pollution Control Board, which is a statutory organization under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. It serves as a apex body for monitoring, regulating and promoting pollution control across the country. The functions of CPCB are it advises the government on plastic waste policy. Then it coordinates with the states to enforce plastic rules. It also creates technical guidelines for recycling and disposal. It monitors EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, compliance with the national portal. Then it supports research on eco-friendly plastic alternatives. It trains officials and workers on plastic management. It also runs awareness campaign to reduce plastic use and publishes reports and data on plastic waste. Then this table shows the key Indian policies on plastic pollution. First one is plastic waste management rules, which laid the foundation for India's legal approach to plastic pollution. For the first time, it defined plastic waste responsibility for local bodies, street vendors, producers, and consumers, and introduced the concept of extended producer responsibility (EPR). What is this extended producer responsibility? It refers to the responsibility of producers, importers, and brand owners to manage the disposal of products. Post use. It is a kind of reverse collection. Like it based on the famous and important international environmental law principle of polluter pay, which implies the one who pollutes must pay for cleaning the environment, must pay for keep the environment clean and intact. The 2022 extended producer responsibility guidelines makes producers, importers, and brand owners responsible for collecting, managing the plastic they generate. It's a shift towards holding the producers accountable and tracking compliance through an online portal. Between 2018 and 2022, the plastic waste management rules were strengthened with several amendments, which includes a ban on multi-layer plastics, minimum thickness norms for carry bags, and most significantly, a nationwide ban on certain single-use plastic from July 2022. Swachh Bharat, we know it is best known for sanitation. It also plays a key role in reducing plastic use through public awareness campaign and support for community level waste generation and plastic free zones. To enhance the transparency, the CPCB Central Pollution and Control Board launched a real-time EPR dashboard which tracks how much plastic each registered producer has to collect and how much they have actually collected. And then coming to the plastic waste co-pricing guidelines. These guidelines promote the use of non-recyclable plastic waste as fuel in cement kilns, and several states like Maharashtra, Kerala and Sikkim have gone beyond the central rules to implement their own ban. However, the success of this ban varied depending upon the local enforcement and awareness. Then coming to the Eco-Mark certification, it is a voluntary certification for products that meet specific environmental criteria, which helps consumer identify and choose eco-friendly alternatives to conventional plastic items. Then last one is Startup India support. Through these initiatives, government is encouraging innovation in plastic alternatives like biodegradable packaging and plastic to fuel technology by offering funding, incubation, and technical support. Uh, these are the advantages and limitations I have already discussed in the previous slides. With this, thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. As all have already been told about all these aspects of plastic pollution. So today I will be discussing about some of the success stories of different countries, how they have been able to manage the plastic and how they have been come up with different ideas to manage the plastic and what are their success stories. So, first one is Japan, as we are calling Japan as the cleanest nation. So, that country is using a comprehensive recycling system to manage the plastic. The first principle they follow is that they have a inbuilt culture in their that country. That culture is called as Motaini culture. We can say that the thing is they in their blood that they respect the natural resources and they always try to avoid waste, and they follow the 3R policy, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle the waste. They have a zero landfill target. In the current situation, less than 5% landfill target they have achieved, and they have the target of achieving zero landfill target. Then they have the law of home appliance recycling law. That means if some home appliances like AC, refrigerator, or TV are getting damaged and you are taking those things for repairing, then the retailers will take it from the consumer and the retailers will deposit those things with the manufacturer, and the manufacturer have that duty to recycle it, and the government of that country is having the duty of seeing and watching that if those recycling process is going properly or not. So that policy have been a really helpful thing to manage the plastic in a better way. And as Japan is a technologically advanced country, so they use AI and robots to sort the recyclable plastics, and as a result of that, the total plastic waste generated is 9 million tons per year, and among that, plastic recycling rate is 87%. So you can imagine that only 13% is remaining as the plastic waste, and they have that less than 5% landfill plastic, and you can imagine how they have been able to manage the plastic in a drastic manner and making their country a cleanest country. So we can learn many things from that country. Then comes Sweden. They make energy out of waste by through a circular economy model. They make or convert recyclable plastic into heating energy. How they are doing that? They just with 850 degrees Celsius, in 850 degrees Celsius in high efficiency of temperature, they heat the plastic and produce electricity from that. And most of the households in Sweden are benefited from that electricity. So that is a very big thing which any country should try and should use this should produce electricity or any kind of energy from plastic. Then they use the flag scam movement, that is pronounced as flight shame movement. They in that movement, what they are telling that you should reduce the use of airways for any travel, and whenever you are using the airways for travel, you should use less plastic, or plastic free consumption should be there. In such a way you can reduce the plastic use. And they are having extended producer responsibility from 1994. That law tells that the producer has the sole responsibility to recycle and reuse all those things like plastic waste. So they strictly implement that law. And there is also repair service tax breaks are also there. That means if a household is like having some AC, refrigerator, all those things are having, and that is getting damaged, and if they are going to a shop for repair or recycle those things, they will have exemption from tax rates and they will have tax benefits. So that acts as a incentive, as an incentive for the household to recycle and repair those things instead of purchasing in new plastic made home things. Then they have the high recycling rate. That means 84% of poly like PET bottles are recyclable. And they have another interesting thing, like if someone is purchasing a water bottle or soda bottle from a shop, and they have to pay minimum $1 or $2, and after finishing that water bottle or after drinking that water, if they are again depositing that bottle into that shop, then they will again give back their money. So that is a very good thing which every country should adopt, and that is a consumer friendly strategy which every country should adopt to manage the plastic. Then comes Kenya. They have been the plastic free country since 2017, and they have put 40,000 US dollar as a fine if you are using a plastic bag, and they are having the provision of imprisonment for up to 4 years. So you can imagine it is such a big crime to use plastic bag, and it should be treated as a crime because it is having a bigger impact on the earth, and we should think think about it seriously. So after that, because of this strict ban, they have an estimated 6.2 billion plastic bags have been eliminated from the environment, and a notable decrease in plastic litter across the cities and towns have been found. Then in Norway, the Norwegian Retailers Environment Fund have been giving training to the retailers to increase the price from 0.10% to 0.20% if you are selling or any consumer is purchasing any plastic made products. So they are well trained in such a way that the retailers are communicating the fact that how the price has been increased or why that price has been increased, and the consumers are totally fine with that. And with the increase of that fee, the consumption of plastic bags has been reduced to 38%, and initially they were using 132 bags per year per person, and now that has been reduced to 80 to 85 bags. And the main important thing in that movement is that the retailers are involved in the policy making process, and that policy has not been imposed on them. So they are feeling like they are responsible and they have that ownership on reducing plastic, and that is why they take it personally, and that movement has been successful in, or that country has been successful in reducing plastic. So everyone has that ownership or responsibility to reduce the plastic, so that only the plastic can be managed in a proper way. Then there are some other countries who have taken some innovative approaches to reduce the plastic waste. Like Costa Rica plans to ban all single-use plastic by 2025, and Rwanda has been a plastic-free economy since 2008 by using various stringent policy for plastic. And in Thailand, a temple has been built from 1.5 billion recycled plastic bottles, so which shows that we can use plastic for decorating purposes or for tourism purposes also. And in Netherlands, pioneering plastic roads made from recycled ocean waste. And in Nigeria, they are giving training to waste pickers, because in the waste management process each and every stakeholders has the equal amount of role, and we as are the consumers or the producer doesn't have that sole responsibility, but also if the waste pickers are getting proper training, then half of our work is done. And how they sort the recyclable things in a proper way, if they get the proper training, then the recyclable process will be more easier. So in addition to that, South Korea is the host of this country's this year's World Environment Day like celebration, and there they are following the like they have been from plastic polluted country to plastic free country by some of the with the use of some policies, like they are using wooden toothbrush instead of plastic toothbrush, and they are like taking their container from home to take any things from the shop. So by small things you can manage the plastic. And these are some success stories which shows that the first two pictures show that how Thailand has made a beautiful temple out of plastic bottles, and which is act as a tourist destination, and all peoples are attracted to see that thing. And second two like last two pictures show that how in Norway plastic roads have been made, and people are happily using that road, and that has been an innovative thing in the country. So lastly, I would like to say that plastic is not the actual problem, but how we are using that plastic. So that is the main problem, and we should be responsible enough to properly utilize the plastic. And from starting from the individual level to the community level, at the government level, everyone should be responsible to take this problem as their own and make the planet a plastic free planet. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to one and all present over here. So I will be talking on, can we beat plastic pollution? Can we beat plastic pollution or not? So in the first slide you can find that India uh, is seen that it is producing more than 9.3% metric ton of the plastic waste annually. So how much does this count? It can be seen that the 1 million ton could fill almost 65 Taj Mahal or 260,000 double decker buses alone. And most of the Western countries usually follow a routine that they dispose their plastic waste to the third world countries. Similar pattern we can see in the different parts of the world. So plastic is how can we see the plastic as a waste or plastic as mismanaged waste? So ontology and the epistemic per se, if we see that the Western countries send their plastic waste to the third world countries, and like this they use to dispose their plastic uh, from their country to the other worlds. It is again a poverty which plays an important role for this third world countries, that they are accepting those plastic waste as a fuel for their economic growth. So in India, we can see that more than 74% of the plastic waste is generated by the 7 to 8 states altogether. But and the other states produces plastic waste, which is 26% altogether. So the plastic waste generated per gram per year, we can see that how the different state produces different amount of plastic waste per year. So Delhi tops by, followed by Goa, Telangana, Pondicherry, Haryana, Lakshadweep, Tamil Nadu, Chandigarh, Karnataka, Gujarat. And how the plastic waste is recycled. You will see that the from the topmost part, that the Odisha, Tripura, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand, these are the places where most of the plastic waste are recycled. But when we see the most producing state, which is Nagaland, Delhi, Haryana, Rajasthan, Mizoram. All these produce more waste, plastic waste, but they don't have much infrastructure to deal with those waste. And as my friend Sanjay said, that the plastic waste is generated exponentially, and it has grown for almost 2,208% per year. And in this graph we can see this very clearly, that from 2015 to 2022 the per capita generation has gone up uh, very drastically, and now people have started talking about how to deal with this plastic waste. So uh, to see some changes in our country, there are many states which are doing good enough to deal with the plastic waste, but some of the initiatives that I would like to talk about is the initiative taken by Earth Fiber. So what they have done is they have uh, negotiated, and they have talked to the sector 20 people, and they have said that what happens when the waste is segregated. They have the things have changed. People after a point of time have understood that how segregated waste can lead to a better future and clean places to live in. And after the segregation, some of the plastic wastes were used for making of different commodities which they can reuse in their houses. So during this time, some people volunteers to this NGOs and all. So what happens when people volunteers, and in down the lane 10 years back, when I was a volunteer to this organization, and when I was collecting this waste, there were uh, some people said very different narratives, that, oh, look, they are doing what they are doing, these are poor guys, they don't have work, they are losers. I do it at home now, it is the government job to clean. And and someone said that it is a photography theatrics. So it happens, it has been a trend that people are using these kind of initiatives for photography theater, but not everything is of the same kind. Another example can be of this Amul milk food packets. So initiatives that was taken in Gujarat, people used to collect and keep those milk packets along with them, and they will give it back to a person who comes to collect them. And in response, they will get some initiatives which which was found to be lucrative, and over a period of time, the people have realized that this way we can it gives motivation, and this way this plastic waste can be managed. And these are virgin plastics, and this was used for making pipes for irrigation purposes and all, and other purposes. So a decathlon in the state, in decathlon stories, they are in many of the state, but the most lucrative thing which I found there was that they are using some kind of t-shirts and the shoes which are made of plastic bottle fibers. So this can be an initiative, and people find it good products out of plastic, and this can be reused. But again, the recycle plastics are from the global plastic waste is 6%. So only 6%, and how much we produce is a very large amount. So again, we will have to think what we should do and what has to be done. Sikkim being a cleanest city and plastic free city, again we can find hoardings when the tourist season comes, that please don't litter, please don't bring plastic waste to this state. But it is about the behavioral change that has to be happen. Similarly, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Tripura, Odisha, West Bengal, Gujarat, Goa, Kerala, they all have certain laws, certain regulation that the single use plastic has been banned. But in the practicality, you can find that it is again in use, and it is been widely used wherever you go. It is again that people are less keen to go to markets or the supermarkets with their own bag, but they depend on the store to give them these plastic bags to carry those things. So these are the changes that government wants to make, but why the challenges is there? So the first challenges can be the success of plastic bans depends on effective enforcement and community participation. If we cannot participate in this process, the plastic waste will not be will always be there with us, and we will have to deal with this problem. And the enforcement has to monitor, the law enforcement has to monitor this regulation and the implementation of this laws strictly, so that people participates in this kind of initiatives. Alternatives could be providing sustainable single-use plastics is a crucial. See, if we don't have alternatives to the single-use plastic, people will not opt for any other alternatives. So we will have to have some alternatives for these plastics. Economic consideration are ban can impact business, so measures are needed to support them. See, if you don't carry your bags, and the vendor don't have plastic bags with them, so how will the commerce happen? So looking into these factors, the businessmen are forced to keep those plastic bags so that the business happens and they earn economic growth. So again, fundamentally, we will have to think about this behavioral change. The infrastructure, if you see that most of the municipalities have recycling unit, but again, do they run on profit? It is again a question mark for them. So the infrastructure, the technology has to be matured, has to be there to deal with this waste that is generated by plastic. And fundamentally, promoting responsible waste disposal and reducing plastic consumption is a key. We will have to refuse this plastic by any means, because using this plastic will put us in the trap of using this plastic again and again. So if we see that how much is the global corporate polluters for 2023, we will see that 3-4 companies which I know is the one which pollutes more and has extensive number for producing plastic waste around the world. The first one is Coca-Cola company, which has a reach of almost 40 countries, and most common items is bottle, and most common brand it is the Coca-Cola. The second one is Nestle, which has its reach to 33 countries, and it sells bottled items, food wrappers, and the third one is the Unilever. It has a reach to 31 countries, and the most common item is detergent. And the PepsiCo, which has reached to 30 countries, the most common items is food wrappers, bottles. And see how these giants have produced plastic waste, and where is this plastic waste managed? Again, the Great Pacific Ocean has become a garbage patch for this earth, where most of the garbage is disposed. Due to this, the marine mammals are dying day and day. We can find different newspaper clippings that says that the whale is killed because of this plastic waste, and around 5 to 10 kilos of plastic waste is coming out from their stomach. So see the change it has brought, and the vulnerabilities that has caused due to this kind of plastic waste. And again, they say that they are using it in road construction, but it is very minimal. So we cannot say that we can use all the plastic waste to this road constructions or the sitting infrastructure or any other things, because this won't serve the purpose, and we will have to eventually think that how we could reduce the plastic uses in our daily lives. Thank you.